오늘 저희 세미나 참석해 주셔서 감사드리고요. 저희가 지금 3년째 이런 세미나를 계속 하고 있습니다. 교수님을 직접 모셔서 학교가 어떻게 돌아가고 과정은 실제로 어떻게 운영되고 하는 것들을 계속 하고 있는데 특히나 저희가 이제 어제는 스포츠 매니지먼트 전공을 했고 오늘은 스포츠 자동차 디자인에 대해서 준비를 했어요. 그래서 오늘 이거는 한국 다른 나라 많이 가보셨는데 아시아에 한국에는 처음 오셨대요. 그래서 되게 우리 한국 학생들을 만나는 것에 대해서 굉장히 좋은 기분을 갖고 오셔서 궁금해하신 점이 많으니까 세미나는 대략 한 15분에서 20분 정도를 진행을 할 거고요. 진행할 때 저희가 이제 통역을 원래 했더니 너무 시간이 늘어져서 오늘은 일단 말씀드리고 저희가 사실 활용을 하고 있는데 이거를 나중에 저희가 번역을 해서 다시 유튜브에 또 올려드릴 거니까 오늘 한번 자유롭게 들으시고 나중에 우리 다른 교수님이 말씀하시는 것이 궁금하다라고 하시면 저희가 번역된 유튜브 영상을 본 다음에 또 개별적으로 이메일을 드리도록 할게요. 제가 사전에 궁금한 게 있어요. 자, 학사? 예. 석사 하고 싶다. 왜냐면 그 내용을 저희가 알아야 이제
하고 싶은 거예요.
네.
그래서
석사까지 하고 싶다. 석사도. 알겠습니다. 그리고 기본적으로 이제 여기 전공은 이제 우리는 자동차 디자인이라고 알고 있지만 원래 전공 이름은 자동차 플러스 탈 것 디자인이에요. 그래서 자동차만 하는 것이 아니라 뭐 유모차, 자전거, 요트, 뭐 이런 타는 모든 것들을 다 디자인하는 곳으로 유명한 곳이 바로 코벤트리 대학이고, 그러니까 내가 자동차에만 국한된 것이 아니라 다양한 계열로 나갈 수 있는 아주 좋은 전공이니까 오늘 세미나 오셔서 많은 정보를 얻어가실 수 있었으면 좋겠습니다. 그래서 박수로 우리 다른 교수님을 모셔보도록 하겠습니다.
Thank you very much. Which button is
This
it?
is the next.
Back. Okay, great. Hello. My name is Dr. Daren Pickles. I'm the Associate Head for Media and Performing Arts, but I'm here today to talk to you about automotive design. So everybody here is interested in automotive design, yes? Yes, great, okay. So first of all, welcome. Just before I start, I want to say a little bit about Coventry, about where it is, and about the university itself. So here is a map of England, and Coventry is right in the centre, the geographical centre of England. It's 1 hour to London on the train, and it's 20 minutes on the train to the nearest which is the second largest city in Britain, which is Birmingham. Between Birmingham and Coventry, we have Birmingham International Airport, which has daily flights by Emirates to Korea and to Dubai, and also Air France and KLM. So it's very, very well connected. So if you're travelling to the UK, it's very likely you'd be landing at this airport, and then it would be 10 minutes into Coventry. It's very close by. The university, this is the city centre of Coventry. The university takes up this area here in the city centre. So it's almost half of the centre of the city. The train station is here, and to walk from the train station here to my office, which is here, is about 7 minutes. Okay, so it's very close by, and also all around here are the student accommodations. We also have a few over this side of the city centre as well. But if you're staying in a student accommodation around here, it's a very short walk, 5 minutes or less, into wherever you're having your studies in the morning. Okay. So, automotive and transport design. It's not my teaching area, which is why I have some notes to help me with some of the details of the course. But I want to give you a flavour today of the course, what it's about, and the kinds of things that you will study on the course. So Can I understand? Can I ask you, any of you, what you understand about what automotive and transport design is? Does anybody have an answer?
Very straightforward.
Yes.
There's something like a car design.
Absolutely, that's a fantastic answer. So really what we're talking about when we're talking about automotive and transport design is the interior and the exterior design of cars. But not only cars, we're also talking about boats, bicycles, trucks, airships, delivery vehicles, quad bikes, racers, submarines, pods, autonomous vehicles, and trains. So all forms of transport. Okay? Now on the course, we look at different areas and aspects of the design of transport and vehicles. So things like autonomy. Is the car driven by a person? Is it an autonomous vehicle? Is it driven on rails? What's the mode of transport for getting to one place to the other? Sustainability. So is the car an electric car? Is it run by petrol, diesel, gas, some kind of hybrid propulsion? Questions of ergonomics. Does anybody know what the term ergonomics means?
Well, basically a way of saying how a person will fit in that vehicle.
Absolutely, it's design around the human being, around how humans function. That's a very good answer. So we also look at, as well as at ergonomics, at the user experience, things like the surface of the car, the colour, the texture, any lifestyle concerns, what is the vehicle being used for primarily, and also thinking around future design solutions. How is transport going to be in 10 years' time, 20 years' time? A lot of the designs you will see that are being done by the students are thinking about designs for 2030, because a lot of the concepts and production process takes a very long time to reach market. So we're always thinking ahead with our transport design. So I have a quick question for you. This design of this car, is this a girl car or a boy car? Any answers?
Go.
This says a girl car. Okay.
Where should we stand the vehicle?
This car, girl car, boy car. Just simply, what would you say?
You would say it's a more masculine design.
Your first impressions would say it's a more masculine design. I'm not saying that this is what the designers necessarily had in mind, but when we look at a vehicle like this, or the design of a vehicle like this, we're thinking about how does this make you feel? Who is this car designed for? What is its function? So this car obviously is not really made for going long distance travel. It's more a town vehicle. This car could be both. It could be for going very fast, whereas this one, going fast is not such a concern. But in the design here, we also have some features that may tell us other things. We often, what's called anthropomorphize features of the vehicle. So we make things about the design kind of have a human feel about them. So the headlights we associate with our eyes. And here the headlights are round, open, more like an infant. The colour, obviously pink. We would, in the West, we would traditionally associate that with a feminine, a girl's colour. Usually baby girls are dressed in pink. This car here, the design here is a more closed eye, which is a more masculine view. And also we have the kind of aggressive grille. So everything about this car kind of says tough, masculine, testosterone. and built for going fast is a status symbol as much as it's probably more than a vehicle to get you from A to B. So this is just a small kind of thing that you might think whenever you look at a car, and all these considerations must be taken into account. Excuse me, I'll just get my notes back up. Okay, so when we're expressing our ideas about design, we're using a language. But it's not a spoken language, it's not a written language, it's a language of emotion and expression. Has anybody ever heard the term semiotics? Semiotics. Semiotics is the study of language, a language of signs. So a language that's not written down, it's not spoken, but we understand something about the vehicle through things like its shape, its form, its line, its colour, its texture, its power, the way it moves. And as I've said, design makes us feel a certain way about a vehicle. And it can turn something that's very ordinary, a journey from A to B, into something very special, a special experience. So good design can enhance the way we feel about not only our travelling, but about the vehicle we're driving or travelling in. And good design tells us a story. This is a student's work here for their degree show. So it not only tells us something about the vehicle, but it also tells us something about ourselves, about the world. A lot of design, it comes from nature. And it also tells other people something about us, about how we project in the world. So this car, for example, is telling something very different to the world than this car. Okay. So also we have to consider when we're telling this story about design that we're always trying to consider aspects, a balance of aspects. So we might be thinking about function versus form versus style or design. You may want a lot of certain kind of functionality, you want the car to go very fast, then it may have to look a certain way aerodynamically to do that. We're thinking about power versus softness, sleekness versus resistance, male versus female, light versus dark, tension versus release, loud versus quiet, yin versus yang. Okay? So we're thinking about the balance of what we can achieve with the materials that we have. Let's go forward, sorry. Okay. So we not only have to understand what's possible in the design and the materials we have, we also need to understand something about what the design is saying, the context. What are all the other designs out there that other people have designed? What did that say to people? And also the history, how we have got to something like this. Okay? So when we're thinking about automotive design, we need to consider not only the technical aspects, the technical skill of our drawings, of our models we make, but we also need to understand the historical context and the semiotic aspects, the way it makes us feel, what it's telling us through the way it looks. Okay. Stuck. Okay. So on this course, on our course at Coventry University, we aim to link your passion, your skill, and I'm sure there's many of you sitting in this room that are very passionate and have a lot of skill already, but we aim to link that with your aims, the aim you have in your career. Okay? So that we can not only equip you with more abilities, we can help you achieve your career aims, we want you to go further than that. We want you to surpass even what you can think of as being your career aims at the moment. So we strive to give you the professionalism and the confidence and the opportunities as well, so that you can go out into the world and take a leading role in this area. I'm going to show you some graduates who have done that, very much so. Okay. Now on the course we learn how to do these things through a number of different ways. We use drawing, we use clay modelling, we use alias CAD design, computer-aided design, visualization, animation, strategic analysis, market and brand research, subject research, user experience, ergonomics, and human-machine interaction. And what we can offer you to do this is our state-of-the-art facilities. So we have clay modelling facilities, we have a fantastic wind tunnel where you can test aerodynamics. We also have robotic milling, laser cutting, 3D printing, and this all allows us to do rapid prototyping of any designs you might think of. Now the different areas you will study on the course, just to go over this in a little more detail. So I've already mentioned this area, the ergonomics. Okay, so making sure that the designs are designed for real people, and we use the application of both psychological, so the way the mind works about design, and also physiological, how our bodies fit into these designs in order to do that. We might also think about CMF variants, which are colours, material, finish of a car, what different things may be offered to the consumer when they buy things. In terms of the interior design, we also think about the human-machine interface. What can this car do and how is that presented to the user? We also look at features, such as interesting designs for door handles, lighting, light details. And we use 3D modeling, visualization, so 3D both digital and physical modeling tools. We use our wind tunnel for designing of things like aerodynamics and engineering design. We use things like storyboards so that we can develop narratives and sell and showcase our designs to our employers. We use user experience, so we gather data from humans who interact with our designs. We can also look at other data that other car manufacturers have gained in their different kind of designs. And we can use other human factors, something called anthropometry, which is the measuring of the human body for better ergonomic design. So if we're designing a certain style of car for a certain market, we may try and get an idea of the average shape of the user of that vehicle in order to make one. I have a very small car, I have a Fiat. It's not designed for me. It's designed for somebody much smaller. So that would be a bad design decision, but it's what I can afford. So the kinds of areas that you might think of in terms of a career would center around these different clusters. So you may want to work in something like materials and construction, finding out the different materials and construction that are needed in car design. You may get very interested in aerodynamic design, in usability, in ownership, so that's the variance, what can we offer the consumer, what's possible to offer the consumer. In legislation, are we going to have to make all electric cars? Are we going to have, what safety features are we going to have to build into our car designs? Brand image, how it's projected out there into the world. Along with that goes things like packaging around the car, who is the car model for demographically, and also looking into more advanced things like autonomous driving. So those are all kind of branch areas that you will learn about on the course, and these become career paths for you, not just simply automotive design. There are many, many aspects and career paths you could go into within the automotive and transport industry. To say something about our industrial partners, so you may or may not know that Coventry is the centre of car design in the United Kingdom. We have Jaguar Land Rover is 5 minutes walk away, their main offices from Coventry University. They also have their main manufacturing plant in the UK, about 10 miles outside of Coventry. So we're very, very intimately connected with the whole of the automotive industry, not only in the UK but also in Europe. Now, our students have gained internships at these companies. We've had many speakers from these companies come in and speak to our students. And we also have an ethos on our courses that these manufacturers come in, they not only speak to the students, but they also set the student projects in assignments. In this course, in the second year of the course, you will be set a number of assignments that are from industry. We call it live briefs, and they're often things that they're working on at their company. So it's a way of them getting some extra help to solve certain issues and problems. And the students are set assignments around those live briefs and given projects to work on by the companies. These are, again, are just some of the companies, the many, many companies that our graduates have gone on not only to have an internship at, but also gain employment. Just to highlight some of these, Aston Martin, Audi, Bentley, Ferrari, Rolls-Royce, Volvo, Volkswagen. So basically all the main car manufacturers, particularly in the UK, Europe, United States. We also run an international competition every year with the Nissan Global Design Centre. This is some work that was done for that. So that's a yearly competition that our students enter. We haven't won it yet, but we've come very close a number of times. But that's an opportunity that we offer the students. And now I'm going to talk about some graduates. Some from, this course is 40 years old. So it has it's probably one of the oldest automotive design courses in the UK. So we have some very prominent graduates going back a long way, and some more recent ones as well. So there's many, many here, so I'm just going to highlight a few. So Earl Beckles is a design manager at Jaguar Land Rover. Klaus Buser is head of design at Fiat Chrysler. Now these students in the 1990s, we also have an engineering department at Coventry, and our course works in collaboration with the engineering department from time to time. This was a car that was designed by our automotive students and built by the engineering students. And the three people that worked on this in the 1990s went on to have some quite prominent careers. So we have a design manager here at Land Rover. We also have a chief designer who worked on that project at Jaguar Land Rover. Nikki Smart here works for General Motors Advanced Design in Los Angeles, California. So these students built this car and won a design competition and have gone on to have very good careers in the car industry, in car design. Another set of graduates here. So we have a senior executive designer at Volvo, John Buckingham here, automotive creative director at BMW, Creative Director of Exterior Design at Aston Martin. And these are the vehicles that they designed. More recently, we have a graduate here, Daniel Bowman, who's been doing work with Mercedes-Benz on some concept vehicles for them. This is a very nice truck, kind of surveillance truck that he designed for Mercedes. And he's a very recent graduate. So we have some really, really impressive graduates, and at the degree show that we have every year for the final year students, these students come back, they make contacts, and many of those students then go on to do internships. So we have a very, very prestigious industry night where we invite people from BMW, from Jaguar Land Rover, from Chrysler, from all over the place, all over the world, and they come to see our students work and basically look for interns. Okay. Now just a little bit more information about the course. This is a little bit hard to read. If you go on the website, there is more details about the modules, but just to give you some idea of what you would experience in each year. So year one is about teaching core skills and gradually applying them to increasingly ambitious projects. So we aim to develop your two-dimensional skills and apply them to three-dimensional design solutions. So you'll have the opportunity to not only work in groups, but also to develop a dialogue and criticism around form-based solutioning. So teaching and learning will be supported by a curriculum that covers all areas of design, practical and theoretical, historical and forward-looking. In year two, you're more focused on developing as aspiring designers, creating a professional profile that relates to your career aspirations. And this is where you will be working on projects that are set by our industry partners. So you're developing this wider portfolio that's working on real-world solutions. And in the final year, you'll be given the opportunity to apply your learning and the experiences that you have into a body of work in your final degree show that showcases your talent, your vision to an external audience. And you will do that through your final project. So we've got a little film here of some of the students who have Is it a fold with the
Oh, this is
corrupted? Oh. Is that okay? Can we find that one?
Is it the show?
It's the degree show, yes. This, yeah, that one.
My project is like a utility drone, but it's for a sort of film setting, a post-apocalyptic vehicle, and it sort of conducts research.
So Alfa Romeo is called Alfa Milano, starting a stock brand for Alfa Romeo itself, a brand that separates itself from the sort of domestic car.
Our flagship Force Trend for 2027, collaborated with Korean. It's been very exciting for me to actually prepare and actually work on myself and my skills.
Maybe it was 6 weeks of sanding model after milling, so 2 weeks of paint, different paint, masking, getting all these lines all sort of okay.
For clay modelers, we try to learn by ourselves by hand. We're AS modelers, we work on a computer and we print them on paper.
This is the industry night.
Well, I hope to get from the degree share is a job and good contacts, solid contacts in the industry.
Over 500 people will actually come to the show and look for potential future employees. I'll be very happy if I can present my work actually to them, to now be working for them and create the next flagship of the brand of Citron.
This is the one opportunity that you actually get to talk to everyone in the industry. You get to give your business card out to CEOs and design managers all over the world.
So it's just a short shot of some of the final degree show work and the people visiting on the industry night. I'm just going to go forward. Now I did say it's an award-winning course, probably the most prestigious award that the course has won. So these aren't prizes that are given out to students, and we have many of those. These are prizes given out to the course itself. In 2008, we won the Queen's Anniversary Prize for Higher and Further Education. So that's only awarded to the very top of the top courses. So we're very, very proud to have won that. Also, the statistics we have a very, very high percentage of students who are from this course who are either gaining graduate employment when they leave or going into further education. Our design courses are ranked 9th in the country. Unfortunately, they group together all our design courses. I'm sure if they had rankings just for automotive design, it would be higher than that. But that's still very, very highly ranked course or group of courses. Also, finally to say that in Coventry, on the university campus, we have the National Transport Design Centre. And we're very, very pleased to have this. It's 3 minutes walk from our building in what we call the University Techno Park. And we have the very, very advanced cutting edge technology in there. And our students have a chance to work with these guys from time to time, not only on projects, but to help them in projects set for them to help these guys on projects they're doing. So there's a fantastic internship opportunity that's 3 minutes away from where you'll be learning, and you will make connections with the people that work at the National Transport Design Centre. Just to talk a little about entry requirements for the UK, this is for the undergraduate BA. Really, the most important thing is to get your portfolio together before you apply. Be careful with your portfolio not to put too many images in. We're really looking for around 15 to 20 images in total. And out of those 15 to 20 images, really the best thing would be if you could focus in on maybe 2 or 3 projects, show the 2 or 3 finished pieces of work, and then the other images could be all your development work around that. If you have some images or drawings that are not of car design, we want to see your car designs, definitely, but it's okay for you to put in just drawing from life is particularly good, because what we really want to see at a very basic level is that you can draw to start with. Any models, photographs that you may have, again, that's all fantastic way of showcasing your work. I've just put the entry requirements here for the MA. If you do the course at undergraduate level, you will get a place on the MA. If you pass the degree, you'll be at that level of standard that you'll have to provide your portfolio, of course, but your portfolio will be up to the standard required for you to get on the MA, which is a even more prestigious MA. And you'll see here it's emphasizing the portfolio here, which is exactly what you will be provided with and have at the end of your undergraduate study. You will have a portfolio that is among the best in the country. Okay, thank you very much. Does anybody have any questions? It could be about anything to do with Coventry, or perhaps more specifically about the course.
The difference between the college course and the master course. The master course in Coventry.
You have the bachelor's degree, which is the undergraduate degree, which is a 3-year degree. The master's is a 1 or 2-year degree. The reason the first year will be an extension of the work done at BA, so it'll be getting a much more professional portfolio. The second year, if you choose to take it, because it's an optional second year, will be in work experience. So you'll actually gain a placement within the second year. So MA is a higher level of study. Many of the graduates that we see, we have a recent graduate called Craig Callum, who is the head designer, one of the head designers at Lego. He did automotive transport MA, so he worked in the industry, in the car industry, decided that wasn't quite what he wanted to do, came back, did work around Lego, and then became a designer at Lego from doing his team does all the cars for Lego. So the MA is often designed for people who have already worked a little in industry for a few years, and then they want to come on, perhaps they want to go into a management role, they want a slight change of career, slightly different skill set. So, yes.
So it's a question is a bit personal, but I was admitted to Coventry about 5 years ago, and the reason I am obviously not in the UK at this moment is because, I mean, for non-European Union students, like your scholarship prospects weren't like that, how should I say, supportive, so to say. So that was one of the reasons I abandoned that and came to Korea. And my question is, I mean, especially for your MA, do you have any like financial aid prospects for students?
There are scholarships available. All UK universities will have scholarships. They are hard to get though. So if you're interested in applying for a scholarship, look on the Coventry website. If you type Coventry Scholarship, Coventry University Scholarships into Google, it will come up with a list of potential scholarships. You can also gain scholarships from potential employers. You'll find a number of the car companies listed there. They have scholarship schemes as well to study in the UK. So they do exist, but they are fairly rare. But that's quite usual for UK universities. We're not extra specially difficult in gaining scholarships, but we're not that easy either. But you'll find that across the board in the UK.
That scholarship is international students is eligible for that, or
There are scholarships for international students.
equal opportunity to the international students and domestic students.
I would say so, yeah. So there's no. It depends which scholarship it is. You know, if it's a scholarship to directly encourage international students or directly encourage UK students, it will be aimed at that market. But a lot of the scholarships are across the board, and they want to, you know, you have to write a letter explaining why you want the scholarship, etc., etc. And they will have equal weighting on certain ones. It depends what the scholarship is designed for, which institution is providing it. If it's Coventry University, they are the same. So there's equal opportunity for international students as for UK students. We have a huge amount of international students at Coventry. Probably up to a third of the students are non-UK students.
when you graduate, you must be interested in getting a job in UK. Do you have any special, like, I don't know whether school can be supportive for students to get a visa, working visa, or
It really depends on what the job offer is and what the visa arrangement is with your country. Now, I'm not an expert in that area. Yeah.
그러니까 차별은 없어요. 우리나라, 그러니까 뭐 이웃 사람이냐 영국 사람이냐 차별은 없는데 문제는 기본적으로 비자를 받으려면 그 회사가 그러니까 학생한테 비자를 주는 게 아니라 이 학생을 회사가 비자 스폰서십을 줘야 되고 그러면 국가, 그러니까 이민국은 이 회사를 보고 주거든요. 그러면 그 코스라고 하는 걸 발행을 해줘야 되는데 그걸 발행을 해주기가 회사에 그러면 책임감 같은 게 있어요. 얘를 관리를 해야 돼요. 문제와 책임감. 그러니까 회사 입장에서는 똑같은 실력이면 영국 사람 아니면 이웃 사람을 쓰죠. 비자 내줄 필요 없으니까. 그래서 현실적으로 굉장히 어려웠어요. 그래서 실력이 있어야 돼요. 실력이. 잘 해야 돼요. 그러니까 회사에서 딱 봤을 때 이 친구는 우리가 비자 스폰서십을 하더라도 우리 회사에 필요하다 라고 해야 그 사람은 채용을 하고 비자 스폰서십을 내서 코스를 발행을 해주는 거기 때문에 그러니까 결론적으로는 실력이 중요한 거죠. 그래서 현지 취업이, 그러니까 저희는 이제 우리나라에서 유일하게 영국 이민센터를 가지고 있으니까 한국 분들이 취업하면 다 저희가 하거든요. 취업을 할 수 있는, 그러니까 취업 비자를 받는 숫자가 되게 가면 갈수록 줄어들고 있어요. 그러니까 그만큼 영국은 이미 성숙한 사회고 영국 사람들을 취업하거나 아니면 EU에서 온 값싼 노동력을 쓰면 되니까 EU, 그러니까 non-EU를 잘 안 뽑아요. 대신에 열심히 하면 취업이 되더라고요. 우리 실장님 학생 한 분은 영국은 아니지만 이번에 엔지니어링하고 그 어디야 아마존 취업하신 분이 계시거든요. 그러니까 결론은 자기가 실력이 있어야 되는 것 같아요. 대신에 인문계 쪽, 그러니까 휴머니티 하시는 분들은 취업하기 어려운데 이렇게 엔지니어링이나 뭐 디자인 이런 분들 아주 정말 기술이 있고 능력이 있다고 하시면 취업 주는 분만 하죠. 그리고 아까 말한 것처럼 저기 2년짜리 그러니까 인턴십이 되게 중요하거든요. 코벤트리가 되게 좋은 게 이분들 항상 하시는 말씀이 프랙티컬한 거, 핸즈온 또 learning by doing 뭐 이런 것들이 있거든요. 항상 관련된 산학 협력이 엄청나게 좋아요. 그래서 이런 것들을 계속 하면서 경력을 쌓아가는 것이 되게 좋고 학사를 한다라고 해도 기본적으로 영국 학사는 3년인데 요즘은 여기다 이제 샌드위치라고 해서 하나를 더 껴요. 그래서 1학년, 2학년하고 세 번째에 플레이스먼트, 그러니까 인턴십을 하고 그다음에 돌아와서 3년치를 맞추고 졸업을 하거든요. 그러니까 똑같이 영국에서 좋은 학사를 나왔다라고 해도 그냥 3년 공부만 하신 분하고 껴서 인턴십 경험이 있는 사람하고 나중에 사회에 나갔을 때 누가 더 픽을 받느냐를 따지면 4년을 하는 것이 좋고 학사를 하신다라고 하면 석사 같은 경우에도 저기 1년짜리, 2년짜리 있는데 여기 사람들이 되게 오해하시는 게 여기를 여기는 이제 졸업학점이 있어요. 이렇게 2, 1이라고 돼 있고 여기 띠 보면 2, 2라고 되어 있습니다. 이게 학점을 얘기하는 거예요. 근데 영국은 학점이 4개로 나뉘거든요. 그래서 이제 퍼스트, 그러니까 제일 잘하는 게 있고 2, 1, 2, 2 그다음 졸업하는 게 있어요. 그래서 이거를 딱 보면 많은 사람들이 여기는 공부를 잘하는 사람은 가서 1년만 하는 거고 공부를 조금 못하는 사람들은 2년을 해야 되네? 이래야 석사를 딸 수 있다고 생각하시는데 사실은 여기는 인턴십 있는 거거든요. 그러니까 똑같이 성적이 좋아도 저희는 가능하면 2년짜리를 하시는 것이 더 유리하다고 보는 거죠. 나중에 이제 취업을 한다고 하면 답변이 잘 되었나 보겠습니다. 아무튼 취업이 안 되는 건 아니다. 대신에 쉽지는 않다. 그리고 아까 장학금에 대해서 여쭤보셨는데 장학금 많아요. 많은데 진짜 따기 어려워요. 좋은 학교
뭔가요?
여기 되게 좋죠.
아니 장학금을 주는 기준이 뭐?
성적.
성적? 그럼 성적을 잘 맞기 어렵다는 의미인가요?
그러니까 우리가 학사로 들어갈 때도 장학금이 이렇게 있으면 학사는 성적으로 보기 때문에 파운데이션 때 되게 공부를 잘하면 어플라이를 해요. 근데 저희가 해마다 저희는 영국유학 가는 학생분들이 많은데 코벤트리에서는 저희는 장학금을 받은 학생을 아직까지 없어요.
그리고 그 성적이 실기예요, 아니면 성적이 다?
네. 그래서 그러니까 결론적으로 여기는 공부를 잘해야 장학금을 줘요. 그러니까 미국하고 완전 다르죠. 미국은 다양한 경험을 했고 모티베이션 레터를 잘 쓰고 그러면 괜찮네 하고 장학금을 주지만 영국은 좀 그런 건 아닌 것 같아요. 그래서 석사 같은 경우에는 장학금을 도전하신다라고 하면은 뭐 관련 경험이 아주 좋다거나 경력이 아주 좋아요. 굉장히 프로젝트를 수행을 잘했고 나는 너네 대학교에 와서 니네 대학원, 니네 학교에서 석사를 이렇게 할 건데 뭐 이런 것들이 굉장히 베네핏이 있어야만 학교에서도 장학금을 수여를 하죠. 그래서 비용이 얼마나 드는지 되게 궁금하시잖아요. 그러니까 영국에서 학사를 한다라고 하면은 코벤트리 대학 같은 경우에는 대략 1년에 학비, 생활비, 기숙사비 다 포함해가지고 한 4,500 정도 든다고 보시면 돼요. 1년에. 그래서 지금 고등학생이라고 하면 우리나라에서 고등학교를 졸업했으면 코멘트리는 여기 학교가 좋아서 아트지만 다이렉트로 갈 수 없어요. 꼭 한 학년을 더 해야 돼요. 그러니까 13학년을 해야 돼. 우리는 초중고가 12년인데 영국은 원래 13년이거든요. 그러니까 우리가 1년이 부족한 거예요. 그래서 여기를 내가 다이렉트로 학사를 가겠다라고 하면 엔트리표를 다 보여주는데 우리나라에서 대학교를 가요. 그래서 1년을 더 다니면서 아트 관련 전공을 하고 성적이 좋으면 바로 들어갈 수가 있고 그게 아니다라고 하면 우리나라에서 고등학교 졸업하고 여기 가서 파운데이션 1년 하고 그 다음에 들어가는 거고요.
만약에 파운데이션 코스에서 성적이 좋지 않으면 못 들어갈 수 있어요.
그렇죠. 근데 그런 학생은 아직까지 없었던 것 같아요. 영어를 못해서 못 들어가는 학생들이 있습니다. 그러니까 여기는 이제 세 가지를 보죠. 그러니까 뭐 공부 여기는 가자마자 히스토리가 아트 공부 나왔어요. 우리는 예술하는 친구들은 역사 공부 안 하잖아요. 미술사 공부 안 하잖아요. 여기는 이제 그런 철학이 있어야 되는 나라이기 때문에 미술사 공부도 하고 아무튼 아카데믹 모듈이 있고 영어도 해야 되고 포트폴리오가 필요해요. 그래서 이게 다 갖추시면 들어갑니다. 그리고 아까 말씀드린 것처럼 1년에 한 4,500, 5천만 원 드니까 학사를 간다. 파운데이션 1년, 대학교 1학년, 2학년, 3학년 2억 정도 드는 거고요. 석사를 간다. 그러면 내가 그냥 가면 1년이니까 1년도 할 수 있을 경우는 5천만 원, 4,500, 5천만 원 2년 한다. 라고 해도 플레이스먼트를 받으면 돈 받아요. 월급 받으면서 일하거든요. 유급이니까. 그런 거 고민을 하면 대략 내가 유학을 간다라고 하면 예산을 어느 정도 짜야겠구나 라는 것이 보일 수 있죠.
Just really to finish, to say that now is a very good time to study in the UK.
Why?
Because the value of the pound is very low. So, and this is mainly because of Brexit. So everything is much cheaper for other people coming from other countries than it has been in the last few years. So we're going to have 2 or 3 years of a very low value pound, so your money will go much further. Another thing to say about Coventry is in 2021, Coventry is going to be the UK City of Culture, and there will be a big focus on the arts in the city, and if you're in automotive design, there will be a national focus around the city of Coventry and our students in particular, because it's City of Culture, so everything to do with the arts, because Coventry is part of the car industry, or the main city that's renowned for that. There's going to be a big focus on you and your work. So it's really, really fantastic time to come to Coventry as well as to come to the UK. Great. Any more questions?
그러면 개인적으로 혹시 질문하실 것들도 있고 궁금해하시는 것들도 있을 테니까 저랑 저희 우리 실장님이랑 다른 교수님 여기 계실 거예요. 그래서 추가로 궁금하신 거나 좀 개인적인 것은 따로 개별적으로 물어보시면 저희가 설명을 드리도록 하고요. 일단 저희가 준비한 세미나 세션은 여기서 마치도록 하겠습니다. 그럼 감사합니다.
If anybody would like